Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
Roll up one, roll up all to CGL Season 14. That's right, folks. It's the dawn of a new season, and that means there's going to be more Overwatch action for you all to enjoy. My name is Spectron, returning from the previous and fresh member of CGL here. I got Egg the Runner joining me, fellow native of the glorious Isles of the United Kingdom, fellow Epic Clan
aficionado.
Journeyer. Yeah. How's it going, man?
Kettering, I think that you know that Kettering is the home of Overwatch, not just in the UK, but in a global sense. I mean, hey, look, if some of the rumours about some of the Epic Land rosters are to be believed, then Kettering is going to become that hub. But that's enough about Epic Land shenanigans. We're at CGL, professional organisation, right? So we have the first match of the season that's going to be streamed for you. Open Division, Lunar Falcons versus Megapolo in our console matchups. And these teams, there is a lot that we still do not know about, completely unknown factors, initial game days coming in. We don't have a ton of information. The game tape is going to be what the players show us today. Look, we're starting off a new season. We've got to start off with a bang, right? Either of these teams have the opportunity to make their mark right now to let them know that they are contenders, that they are ones to be feared, or we just have a 5-map gigabanger on our hands, and that's also fine by me.
Just going to have to wait and see exactly what the action's like in the server. Of course, a little bit outside of this match. Again, we mentioned it, but we'll mention it again. It's going to be the first map of this season. And of course, we have made some changes. Remember, we've got these CGL tokens. That rollout is still continuing. So make sure you link your CGL account to your Twitch account, because watching is going to get you drops that you can redeem for things like tokens in actual Overwatch credits. I think there's some CGL profile pictures you can unlock on the managed.cgl website, other goodies like that. Also remember that on Saturdays we're going to have a new series replacing Friday Night Overwatch, aptly named Saturday Night Overwatch, where you can watch people like myself go through games in a little bit more of a detailed format. We'll have a desk, we'll have a little bit more production value, so to speak, so that's also worth your time. But back into the action, we can take a look at the rosters in a little bit more depth. First up, we've got the Lunar Falcons.
Yeah, Lunar Falcons, they're going to be coming into this lineup that we have here. Zombie, Elemento, Aristophanes, Azure, and Azuya. Again, it's as we've said, there's a lot that we don't necessarily know about these teams. If anyone is familiar with prior seasons of CGL, which I am not because I am a Zoomer, as opposed to Spectron, who is 80 years old.
You're literally older than
literally unable to get out of his wheelchair. Teams such as Kabaka Chow, or EMC Orpheus, or EMC Chimera. So a lot of these players have played together before. We have a mix from across all of Europe as well. You have UK players, French players, German, Italian, Belgian, all over. They say that they tend to favor the Ram Rush style, which we have been seeing Ram played recently, but not in that traditional rushdown style that we're familiar with, right?
I mean, I think Ram right now, either you play him as a block bot who pokes, or you just don't play him. I don't think he's in a great spot right now. Obviously, D.Va's just kind of god right now, but, we've also got Winston, who's very much up there. Speaking of Winston, a great counter to Winston is Malga, and that is the preference of Pusio, the main tank of Megapolo. It's the fine liner, fast CN, Pusio, 420, 69, Harpy, and Carbon Head. There's an outlier here, ain't there?
How so? How would you say?
One of these names ain't like the others.
Yeah, possibly.
How are you gonna approach this one, boss man?
I mean, we have to respect the culture of the great nation of England, right?
I suppose.
We have to respect that culture. A funny story is I've started with my legal course, and there's international students, and I had to translate "allow that" to them because like they didn't know what it meant in like a witness statement.
That's what cultural exchange for you. Now, I think we are almost ready to get into the game. First map on the docket we have lined up going to be Samoa, I believe, for control. And after that, looks like we've got everything sorted out. Icon, Hanaoka, Aruna Sapi, Circuit Royale, and a control point should be go the entire way. That means we're not going to be seeing Clash. We are going to be seeing Clash, my mistake.
Yeah.
They're on map 3. In fact, guaranteed it's going to be my first time and yours casting it. In fact, my first time watching in any sort of competitive sense, so we're going to be learning a lot about how that works. Of course, we've been waffling so far about all the newness of the new CGL season, but, it would also be amiss to not talk about just how much has changed with the new Overwatch season as well. I mean, we've had plenty introduced, right? Plenty of balance changes. D.Va slightly nerfed. Not enough. I think plenty of people would argue, but the big standout is going to be Juno, right? This new hero.
Yeah.
A lot of arguments about how balanced they are, how viable they might be, but they are going to be a huge difference maker in most of the mess. I think we've seen that last minute subs come through from the Lunar Falcons. Going to be Terry Titude, who's going to be playing on main tank. Just got information that he's got out of bed a little bit late, but going to be getting into the action shortly.
We have Terry Tituke versus Pusio for 2069. This is probably the greatest day of my life, possibly. But yeah, I mean, everyone's favorite Space Ranger Juno is going to be the main talking point. Has really forced herself onto the meta. People were discussing, is she a main support? Is she a flex support? Which role does she fulfill the best? In what comps can we play her in? What we figured out is just playing her. That's the number one thing in terms of the compositions, in terms of the character, in terms of the character synergies. That's something that's still trying to be that's something that teams are still trying to perfectly figure out. Generally in the backline you're going to be pairing with either the Juno either with the Brigitte or the Ana. That depends on a lot of factors, such as the hero comfort, how aggressive you want to play, whether the enemy has a D.Va, because if you have an Ana and you just send a Hyper-Ring D.Va flying Mach like 1000 at them, it's not going to be a good day for them.
I mean, I would partially disagree with some of that. I think Juno is clearly someone who very much struggles when any sort of angles are opened up. That's why there's somewhat of synergy with Brigitte, just because in a lot of use cases, the Brig can mark those angles. What that does also mean, though, is that if there isn't the Brig playing essentially perfectly, you're just going to die a lot and on cooldown. And so I don't think Juno is crazy viable on maps like Samoa here with these wider angles, but on very linear maps like a Circuit Route, for example, when comboed with the Ana, her raw HPS, along with, of course, the D.Va synergy, does make her very, very strong. Megapolo look to run out with the Juno. They want to use that speed ring to catapult Farcian as deep into the backline as they can. Lunar Falcons going on a more standard as well, Ram Archer composition that they spoke about wanting to play. Lunar Falcons need to go slow. As long as they can survive the pressure cycle of Farcian, they'll be very, very favoured.
Yeah, it's really a case of old meta versus new meta right now. A clash of styles between these two teams. It's going to be interesting to see which one is able to come out. You've got to look at those hyper rings from Harpy. That is the go signal to get your hits in from the D.Va, but it's actually going to be the Ram going first with the hit. Couple punches onto the Brig. Can't throw a whole lot to deny that remarker from moving forward. There's not a ton of frontline damage here, and the early positioning on the point is going to be taken here by Terry Tatuke. You can see Pusio actually moving over onto the DPS role, trying to poke in from a distance, but initial point cap is going to be going in the favor of the Lunar Falcons, and that's the pressure that comes through, and that's actually a better hit that comes out from the Lunar Falcons, able to perfectly punish Megapolo, force them into the corner, and eventually collapse onto them.
I mean, Megapolo needs to hit first, because anytime Lunar Falcons can get into any sort of engage range, then they basically just win. Juno's somewhat survivable, but unless they get full packs and full defense matrix, Elemento is a pretty free 1v1, and so Lunar Falcons, they're just going to try and survive the first hit that they did, and then they can go trade backlines themselves. Regrouping now is Megapolo, ult's pretty far out, and so Lunar Falcons in a great spot to start their defense.
Yeah, phenomenal spot they are. Megapolo's going to try and contest the point just for a little bit. But Harpy's actually going to be taken down there by the Ramatra, getting a little too aggressive. It can be tempting when you have the boosters, the double jump, all the ability to just fly around the map like a damn Zeppelin. But unfortunately, you poke your head out for too long, it's going to get shot clean off. Pulse Bomb was thrown out there by Elemento. Seems to just be a bit of a parting gift for the side of Megapolo.
Yeah, it won't matter at all. That ultimate charges so quickly. The real threat, though, is going to be the annihilation of Terry Tatuk. It allows so much more survivability and, of course, the damage. No more Diva for Megapolo. The Queen's out now, and I suppose that's more comfortable into the Ramatra, but doesn't quite sort out the main issue. Harpy going on to the Lucio, though. Will miss Pulse. Gonna suck, but Megapolo going to try engaging now.
And Megapolo have swapped up their composition, but the ult advantage is going to be the side of Lunar Falcons. Terry waiting until the last possible second to pop that annihilation, squeezing every ounce of value that you can out of that one. And Elemento is just there with the cleanup crew as well, catching a beautiful little three-piece on the Tracer. 90% on the point. Megapolo, they're going to struggle to retouch this, but their Tracer and their Lucio, the two main people that can touch, they're dead.
They just don't have touch. That's going to be the point. Going the way of the Lunar Falcons. Clean 100-0 to start things out. They try, but it's going to be effort in vain. Gotta say, I really am not a huge fan of the comps from Megapolo so far. I think that the first comp, again, I mentioned the fact that the Juno is going to really struggle into compositions that can effectively pressure her. We saw that with Terry Tatuk just absolutely ruining them. And once the swaps came through, I understand that they wanted to keep, I believe it was Carbon Head on their Brigitte for the reason of the ult charge, but Lucio Brig is not a thing anymore, guys. It's not the Overwatch 2 beta. You're going to really struggle to keep a Junk Queen up with only that amount of healing throughput. So they're going to make some adaptations, you know, kind of correctly gambling that the Lunar Falcons are going to stick on the same composition. So it's over to the Mei, over to the Reaper, over to the Queen, a much more frontline trading composition with some survivability to boot. The Rampage is going to be a win con for them, but hitting the walls too could be absolutely huge.
Yeah, those are the win conditions laid out there, and as you said perfectly, there's the wall, and even if this doesn't get the kill onto Terry, that forces so many resources. It forces the Immortality to feel nice and early, and it just allows Zombie the space to shoot in, click the heads of Carbon Head and Harpy. So interesting that the fight ends up not going into the favor of Megapolo there after a strong initial wall. Sometimes your DPS players, they just need to hit shots, and when you can do that at the rate of Zombie, then you got a golden ticket for a win.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, you were absolutely right there, Egda. It was a great cooldown trade in favor of Megapolo when they started that fight out, but they just give themselves a really, really free firing line actually for Zombie to just dismantle Harpy there. A bit of a flub in the movement, a bit of a flub in the positioning, but at the end of the day, it means that Lunar Falcons again get to start this defense off strong.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how the tanks exchange in this fight. Both the Queen and the Ram are frontline brawlers. It'll be interesting to look at the different styles there. You can see that Fast is charging way closer to this Rampage, which said was the win condition, and Terry falls so low. That is the shotgun pressure coming through from both of the shotgunners from the side of Megapolo. Eventually, they are going to be delayed a little bit. Elemento is doing their job on the side of slowing things down, and actually doing a hell of a job there, taking the Lucio out of the fight, and suddenly the wings have been clipped for the Megapolo composition, and Terry Tatuk is happy to capitalize off of that. Lucio does go for a bit of a egregious, some would say, but an attempt at the death blossom nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, he tried it. I think the crucial thing, though, for Lunar Falcons is going to be the fact that they kept this sound barrier through, right? We spoke about how that Rampage is essentially a win con, not if Izuya can match it with the sound barrier, and the window got a little bit awkward with the pace that Fast Yen had off the beginning of this match, but now Izzy has matched it. It takes all the teeth out of the push of Megapolo.
And Megapolo, they are dealing good damage. They are going fast. That is going to be the reckoning that's coming through. Anti-up on so many members, and the Blizzard as well. Plus the Kitsune Rush tossed into that as well. Bob is here in the meantime to try and gun everyone down. Elemento and Azor doing a good job trading out here. The picks are in favor of Megapolo, but just barely. Lunar Falcons are looking dangerous right now, but Megapolo for this fight just looked a little bit more so. They had some more teeth with their ult exchanges, and they're able to get the point cap.
Yeah, decent fight plan out of Megapolo, using the Rampage to force the beat and then capitalizing with the Blizzard. I have to say, every ult after that was a smidge wasted. The Bob, the Rush really will be wanting back, because it means this Annihilation now could do plenty of work. That beat won't last forever.
Yeah, and that Azu's actually going to be taken out of the fight initially. You see if you can hold on to some of these ultimates for Megapolo, but Harpy dies before that beat can come out to deal with the annihilation, and Terry 2 is not taking enough damage right now. Is not being shot hard enough. Is being healed far too much by the rest of the team. Fast has been a bright spot on this Junk Queen, getting late kills in these fights, dealing so much damage, but the team play from Lunar Falcons seems to just be a bit stronger here. Touch is able to come through from Farcien. Axe does get the damage through onto Azuya, and there is a little bit of follow-up there, but that's the Reaper forced out right now, and now you're just trickling onto the point one by one. If you're Megapolo, your key cooldowns are being forced one by one. Your Wraith form, your Suzu, everything that you've got, and Lunar Falcons are just sitting pretty on this point. Going to be having one dead Junker Queen at the end there, and Lunar Falcons 2-0 on Samoa, looking dominant right now.
Absolutely, yeah. I gotta say, super impressed by the DPS, especially of Lunar Falcons. I thought they did a great job acquitting themselves there. I mean, Zombie and Elemento just seem totally unchecked. You get to see a play of the game here from Elemento, but first thing on my mind is going to be that first pick in that first fight at this point for a Zombie. But, of course, first-person perspective, exactly how much work we are getting out of this Tracer, and it's just clean as hell. Can't really hate it at all, and that's why we see an incredibly clean, actually, Samoa come through from the Lunar Falcons. A great stride forward here in the opening stages of this new CGL season.
Yeah, phenomenal play that's coming out there. We did see that Megapolo were experimenting with those different styles, things that are kind of off-kilter. Of course, the Juno is a popular pick right now, but you did make the point that Juno can struggle when there are angles opened up. Not necessarily because Juno, as you say herself, has some survivability, is sort of somewhere in the realm of can never be dived, you know, a Kiriko or a Lucio versus dead off cooldown like a Zen. Somewhere in the middle, I would say. Has the ability to utilize the speed boost to get away, the flight, the double jump, but isn't capable of, you know, sustaining herself through the dive, and certainly, the most important point, isn't that capable of sustaining her other support through a dive. You can play selfish as Juno because you can live yourself, but what are you doing for your other support? A whole lot of nothing, to be honest. Trying to peel for them can be very tricky without burning some of your crucial cooldowns, which you would love to just use aggressively anyway, right? So Juno can work at the highest level. However, it seems like Megapolo still need to practice on that, still need to experiment a little bit, because Lunar Falcons, they're just going with, you know, ye old faithful, right? They're going with the Ram, the Lucio, the Bap, the style that we've known for the past, 2 years since Ram has been out, and the last 2 years, year and a half. Look, I'm like 38 years old, man. Like, just let me do it.
What are you, 22?
21.
Damn.
You're literally
1 foot in the grave.
You're literally 20, bro. It's not. What's my man on about?
Works, man.
Yeah, I do understand. Isn't it just so like demoralizing when like you see all the players who are better than you and they're like 16 years old?
I would say I was doing important things when I was 16, but I really wasn't. So
no, we were not doing important things. We weren't like flying out internationally to like compete for like thousands of dollars, were we?
I was sleeping through my A-level lectures. Listen, don't follow me. What you should follow, though, is our next map. That's going to be Eichenwalder coming up next. And I gotta say, this is a map that's going to be a little bit better for the Juno. It's a little bit harder to take consistent angles onto her, especially on the last point. Seconds last as a slightly lesser scenario, but if they want to play this kind of Ana, Diva, a Juno style, if that's going to be the bread and bust that Megapolo decides to live and die by, this is a pretty bloody good point for it. With Farcien in again, I would assume this to be the case. And Aristophanes is going to be coming in, and as a sub, so is CBZ. So, I mean, that was the Ramatra outs before. This is a pretty good point for Ramatra, actually. So I'm a little bit curious for what the idea is with putting in Aristophanes. Yeah, we'll take a quick look into the lobby, and to me, it looks like Winston's going to be the choice. That's about what I would expect. Still very strong in this meta, even with the, 5 damage per second that he lost in the mid-season patch. And as well, being able to control those high grounds, especially on the second point, is such a huge amount of utility to have.
Yeah, Winston did get that nerf recently to the damage. Did deal 75 damage per second with the Tesla cannon, now deals 70. Which, it is of course a big hit. That is a quite significant damage reduction, but you also have to consider that Winston wasn't dealing the highest amount of damage anyway. That wasn't necessarily the strength. It was the speed and ease of the jump cooldown and the bubble, right? No changes are made to bubble. It's still possibly one of the strongest tank cooldowns that you have in the game, right? The ability to block off not just the enemy team, but also for your own team to utilize that as well on a dive. It's so flexible, it's so important, it's so strong. That is what makes Winston such a strong character. So that would make sense to see here. And also, D.Va traditionally has countered Winston, but recently we've been seeing more and more that traditional matchup hasn't really been so simple, hasn't been so one-sided.
I think it's still pretty free for the D.Va, honestly, in my opinion. There's counterplay to it, sure. It's not like in ranks where if you see your tank counter comp, you have to instantly swap. It gets a lot more in-depth in team play. But at the end of the day, it's still a pretty easy matchup for the D.Va. There's a reason she is so viable so often. But so far, not being hollered. Anna Brig, Echo, Ashe here is interesting. I mean, Tracer is almost ubiquitous in this current patch, being so survivable. Echo and Ashe are able to do plenty of damage control, plenty of space. And I suppose on a map like this, with some long sight lines and high grounds as well, the short angle control that Tracer provides is maybe less valuable than the versatility of an Echo and the raw damage output of an Ashe. Anna Brig on the backline, pretty standard. Nanocycles, survivable, you've seen it all before. Megapolo messing around with a new Queen comp by the looks of things. This Brig Bat backline, I'm very curious about. No speed for the Junker Queen by the looks of things. So it's just going to be about survivability. This is normally a backline you play largely to poke and enable your DPS. So I will be learning along with you, the viewer, about exactly how Megapolo wants to play this attack.
Live by the queen, die by the queen, right, Megapolo? Well, that always helps when you're able to just get that initial pick. You were talking about enabling your DPS. I don't think Fine needed much enabling there. It was just able to come through, get the cleanup through, and losing your Echo is so much burst damage now gone for the Lunar Falcons competition. They are forced to retreat into this small room for at least 2 ticks, and their re-engage, when they take it, is going to be messy, and they're not even going to get it! That's insane. I think that's just a C9, innit?
Yep. So you hit the double nade, you had time. We've had so many, we need to put up the image of Lloyd at some point. But no, I mean, I gotta say, you hit the double nade, there's enough time to go. That's just a goof, and now, I guess, Ram? That's very questionable to me, considering I think the best point for Winston is almost inarguably the second phase of the map. I guess they just decided it's a matchup they're not a massive fan of. Megapolo are most definitely just looking to biff and brawl onto point, and getting there isn't really their business, just electing to use the Queen Shout for the scale. Farsian is getting inspirational with it, I gotta say.
Yeah, a good boop there is going to be denying Fast from that high ground, going to force him back through the stairs. Elemento pulled in once more, and you wouldn't think of an Echo target that's able to be locked down so much, but twice now that has been the crucial pick, the go button for Megapolo to run this one through. And you can see that Lunar Falcons, yes, they are able to control the high ground with the Ramatra, but they're not really able to hold it without all that constant contesting. That being said, you give Zombie the range to take out Harpy. Fine's just responding right back. Fine's Cass has looked, well, dare I say, better than Fine right now.
Yeah, I think Zombies had a very, very strong game, but only getting the one huge kill though onto Pusio means there can be a full engage from the Lunar Falcons onto the cart.
Yeah, Megapolo recognizes they're gone. They don't want none right now. They're trying to retreat into this small enclosed environment. Fine's actually going to be utilizing the defensive Deadeye here. Doesn't get that damage reduction for the latter end of that anymore, so is going to be a sitting duck after a while. Again, Elemento has been picked off once more. Has been a bit of a persistent issue for Megapolo right now, but for the Lunar Falcons right now, I should say, but they're able to clean this fight up. It was always going to be messy, having all of Megapolo trapped in that small room. The late Pusio pick didn't really matter.
Yeah, I think it really was. I think it did, honestly. I think that with Pusio alive, then they would have been much more inclined to invest ultimates heavily. I mean, the Deadeye and the Pulse, it don't matter that much, but if you, for example, went for a Queenal in there, we'd be looking at a very different team fight here. Elemento is going to have to play a lot more safely, been picked off too many times on this Echo for my liking, and so a bit of a step up in play from a player who was so strong on Samoa, I would absolutely love to see.
Yeah, you can see right now it is going to be the attempt onto the high ground. It's actually Aristophane's caught in a strange position right now. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah, and CBC used the beat, but it didn't go off. A stun of There was just no beat that went off. It wasn't an Ajax, but something. But Elemento, in the meantime, is going to be committing some regicide of their own on the Queen. 8 HP in a dream, was able to catch 2 in this fight, and maybe is going to get picked off at the end here, but is the cart going to be touched?
Surely they get touched. Surely they get touched.
Yeah, they can get a touch here. They are going to get the touch. It is just Fast alone on the point, and the reinforcements, the cavalry, don't arrive in time. What a strange fight, but one that ultimately results in the hold for Lunar Falcons, but some spectacular distance made for Megapolo.
When all said and done, though, you make the actual hold from the same point. It does mean that there's some backcap pressure. If Pusio wants to get a little bit funky with it, then could really drag at least one player back. Looks like Elemento's going to backcap him up, at least for now. But it's just, huge pick. Cancels the entire play. All you can really do is jostle for a smidgen of early space, but all being stuck inside the castle. If Lunar Falcons want, they can crunch them inside. That's what they're jostling to do now.
Yeah, you can see Asphanes wants to go right here. Can even commit the annihilation to this if feels it's required. Has to be careful not to overstep the boundaries, and that's the exact reason you can see why. You can get punished for poking your head out a little too hard. Bob is going to be chucked in here as well, but it's in such an enclosed environment that the line of sight isn't really going to do a lot. Bob is always effective when you can use it in open space to cover all that ground, but finally Lunar Falcon's hit is going to come through, and Carbon Head is going to exit the fight just as he entered it. Dead as a door now.
Yep. Not the best use case of the Bob, but it gets the job done, I'll put it that way. 2 minutes now off the bank, minute 40 left to go. Lunar Falcon's hold has been ironclad since that slip up on the first point. Megapolo wants the Curie backline, so more survivability, more heals, more cooldowns to get through on the cross, but not the speed for it. Fine flirts with death, but it's a fumble from one side, at least for now. Lunar Falcons, though, they've got so many ults, the dupe and the annihilation on cart, and a kill like that?
I was going to talk about how passing the open space there is so deadly. Pusio was in the castle. Pusio was in the right spot. Zombie just had the right click. That is a great knife off the high ground. Forces the ram down, but that could actually be a bit of a return to sender sort of moment as Spain decides that's the go signal. You're going to force my hand. I'm going to pop the annihilation now. I'm going to put you all in the grave, and now you just get to clean up the rest of the fight. I will say Megapolo have a closer in this, and that's actually going to be a late use of the Rampage, but it works. It's able to get Azur, and Zombie forces Aristophanes all the way back. Megapolo, they're not clean in this one, but they are here, and with Harpy swapping over to Lucio, there's the potential of a proper last fight here for this point.
I mean, that's what happens when you don't have the beat for the Rampage. It's going to be either anyone's game here, really. Elemento's dupe has to be the what you build your game plan around. Oh, so low, those Aristophanes.
Oh, and great speed boost that's going to be coming through, and that's going to be the good, the bad, the ugly, done there by Fine. Looking pretty damn good right now. Clean headshot at the end there. Again, it's Elemento trying to play Queen better than Farcien right now. But it's not quite going to work out this time. You had your glory a couple fights ago, and CP said, surely this is a swap. Wait, that's not... Yeah. Yes? No? Maybe so? No, that's not a swap. That was just...
That's a fat finger.
That's like the opposite of an Ajax.
Right?
Like, oh my. Okay.
Yep, that's not what you love to see. Already 2 beats not gone off so far. Linear point. Strong if you want to play that kind of Diva Juno style. Window just buys the sightline. Yeah, and suddenly Lunar Falcons have to back up this point. They have options to deal with this. They have the window of their own, and Bob, which is going to be sent out right here. Again, great knife that comes through onto Zombie, but the drag through not coming through there, and eventually, if you're not able to put this Ashe in the grave soon enough, then they're just going to do it themselves, taking out Harpy initial of the fight, cut the feet out from under Megapolo, force them all the way back, and Farcien is going to be stranded here without the team. Again, CBZ, you got to be careful in close environment with a Junker Queen, but eventually you do get that finish. Yeah, it's a strong window from Megapolo, buys them the sideline, but don't get too much done with it. They do force the lamp, but they're not able to capitalize any further, can't reach and actually find an elimination, so the repressure with the Bob from Lunar Falcons is enough to knock them in their behind. 26 seconds left to go. Touch is going to be pretty simple, but actually winning out that fight is going to be the challenge. Last fight territory, of course. Rampage and beat for Megapolo would put them on paper as the advantaged side, but defenders always a huge one to have. Aristophanes goes for the attempt at aggression. I feel like they recognize that they're at an ult deficit. They go for the chaos fight, but it just doesn't work. And now Hell and Fury is going to be rained down upon all of Lunar Falcons. Team kill there. And now you have such a commanding presence of the point. Yes, your spawns are going to be synced up
perfectly for the Lunar Falcons, but you're still going to have rough recontest. You're going to have to force yourself onto the point, force yourself into a position where Farsian is just going to run into your backline and take out your DPS. And then what about enabling your DPS? Nothing that you can do. Desperation Swap to the Venture has proved somewhat fruitful to get Harpy out of the fight, and now you can see the effect that's having. Fast is falling incredibly low, could use some of that extra healing that it provides, but ultimately the touch had to be a bit sloppy from the Lunar Falcons. Your last chance here is going to be Aristophanes. It could be Zombie or Azur as well.
CBZ has a beat if he gets back.
Yeah, CBZ can get back with the beat, but that's going to be the alley-oop that comes through, and it's the Lone Tracer on the point. Not quite. They're just able to get back there just about, utilizing that burrow to get there, stay alive on the point, and Harpy taken down by Elemento once again.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh no, oh no.
That's the goofiest thing I've ever seen.
Oh no, oh no, it's over. It's
Jason,
over.
They just stepped off the point. There's no two ways about it. I mean,
it was tricky, but winnable. Like, it was tricky.
That wasn't even that tricky. There was like a 1v2. It was so free. The spawns weren't great, but all they needed to do was close out. I believe it was a Venture on the cart. They would have been good, but instead they chased towards the spawn doors and they chased towards their demise. Megapolo could have finished the map, but a monumental slip on a banana peel stops them at 2, and now Lunar Falcons just have to complete the map to go up 2, and 0 have 3 match points to close out our best of 5 series. Good lord.
That is a very solid win condition set for Megapolo, right? Of course, in a perfect world, you finish the map and we aren't molding, we aren't screaming our heads off, we're not quitting the job the moment that the stream ends, right? However, getting to you basically finished the map. You basically finished the map. What you're dealing with now is you just have to stop the enemy team from doing that. A lot easier said than done. Lunar Falcons have proven very capable, but maybe when they're on this attacking side and they don't get the luxury of giving, you know, Zombie the space on the high ground, on the Ash, to just click on heads, maybe they'll struggle a little bit more, and Megapolo are going to experiment with the Juno style once more. On the defensive side, this should be quite good. Utilize the range advantage that you have on the Juno.
Have to wait and see if it comes into effect. Lunar Falcons playing a pretty cyclical comp. All they need is a nade and they can entirely go. Another go would technically be a Dynamite and Ash headshot, but that's a little bit more close up. Megapolo, they can't peek. They're just boxed inside.
Lunar Falcons could always just walk up, take early positioning on the point. You can see the Genji mechanics going through there. Pusio already having the recall force out of the fight, and Farsian is split from the rest of the team. Where is my man going? Able to get back to the rest of the team eventually, but they are playing a chaotic game right now, and Aristophanes likes to take advantage
They're
of
so
that.
boomed.
Lead through into the small room. Zombie gets the shots from downtown as well. You do have to be careful. You are going to be pulled back in, but the support there is beautiful. CBZ and Azur doing a great job making sure their tank stays alive in this. 2 ticks now on the point. You have to get touch here. If you're Megapolo, you don't have the rest of a choice, but Fine is going to have that
retouch.
flashbang right in their face, and no retouch is going to be coming through right now. Lunar Falcons take that first point in dominant fashion. What was happening for Megapolo there?
Continues the theme of fast first points. Megapolo had a really strange defense setup where they had like their backlines and their hit scans stuck on high, while their Queen and like Tracer went roaming. That's a really, really strange setup. There's no two ways about it, and it means that if Aristophanes wants to get, you know, into the backline, he just kind of can. Exactly what we saw there, and because of it, then just a huge beef from Megapolo. 5 minutes now for the Lunar Falcons to try their hand at second point, and already it's going to be Aristophanes posturing for the castle.
And Carbonhead will have this use of this defensive window, can use it on the high ground. May not even need to use it. Aristophanes oversteps their boundaries, is going to be taken out there. The second point can be so tricky. Winston can neuter that a little bit, but you do have to be very careful. Zombie is going to be ran after, but eventually going to be chained behind him. Suddenly, there is no such horror villain Junker Queen that's going to be chasing you anymore. So Lunar Falcons want to get back into this one. The jumps onto the high ground, great boot there, but now CBZ has the nano, and that is the hit that you want, right? You utilize the nano jump onto the high ground. You see Aristophanes waiting for it.
Oh,
Plus you're
huge.
going
Cancel.
first. Where's your nano engaged? Gone completely. Queen going to be walking through onto this low ground, taking Azur down. Great job there from Megapolo, and specifically Pusio for 2069.
Yeah, Pusio saves that fight there. CBZ loses the nano? That nano jacks. I didn't see where it went.
What?
Because
Okay.
your nano targets are either going to be Elemental or Aristophanes. Neither of them got it because they would have hard engaged. We would have seen the Blade pull. We would have seen Aristophanes jump. And nanoing Azure just wouldn't make any sense in that use case. So I think I was a Nano Jax out of Lunar Falcons. Pusio with a click of a button puts a huge break on the momentum of Lunar Falcons, and Megapolo throw their names back into the ring, back into contention to complete this series.
Oh, the sleep comes
No,
through!
the-
That cancels the rampage! That's what you needed, but Pusio's still in the fight. Could always be dangerous. Zombies taken out, and Harpy's utilised this rally to try and keep everyone alive. Azure has one of their own, but isn't going to opt to let it rip. Aristophanes went for the Primal Rage, went to get a little bit argy-bargy in this small room, but small robot is not what you want to be doing against a Junker Queen's comp there. CVZ CVZ tried to redeem themselves after that last nano blunder, but it was not to be, I'm afraid.
This feels like such a strange series. How many ultimates have we seen cancelled so far? There's been at least 4. And, 2 C9s to boot? Spaghetti's all over the shop right now, but it's damn entertaining, I'll tell you that
It's
much
in my
for free.
hands, bro. It's in my hands. There's
Exactly.
spaghetti on my face, there's spaghetti on my legs, there's spaghetti on the floor, it's in my toes. I just want it gone. Now we're going to be seeing Lunar Falcons swapping up the Lucio Brig. They're going to be utilizing the rally on top of the Blade as well. That is an ult combo that will work for you. It does mean that for your next fight, you're forced onto a bit of an awkward composition. The Ramatra doesn't get a ton of sustain, if any, with the Brig and the Lucio, but you take your fight win and you hope this momentum can go through.
You have to hold choke really, really close with basically everybody other than like Zombie or Brig who can stay on cart. Otherwise, you're going to lose the eventual HP trade. Megapolo will recognize that there's just not enough throughput for this Ramatra. That's what they're attempting to do, but they're still giving them some space. We'll see if it comes to bite them in the behind.
Yeah, you do have to touch the point. That has been a contentious issue between both these teams. And
just giving a
it's
1v5.
just fast. Yeah, alone on the point. That's going to force a really early Immortality field, and Elemento is able to get through. Sojourn is able to dash away, has been the pick here, but finally that's going to be the trade actually working in the favor there of fast. I mean, the touch could have came through from all of Megapolo, but it simply didn't. They sent fast really early. No one else was able to get on, and despite all these late kills, despite all these trades, you lose a tank early. That's the fight done and dusted.
I mean, remember, they were trying to bully the choke. That was what their game plan should have been going in, and they fulfilled that exceptionally. Of course, Fast was able to get through, but nobody else really was. Especially like an Azure or a Carbon Head, trying to get through would have just absolutely folded. And so Megapolo leave their tank out to dry, and their chance of second point with it. 2.5 minutes now, just one fight needed. Lunar Falcons still in a good spot, but a rampage is huge!
CBZ is going to connect with the beat this time, and Fine is taken so incredibly low. Harpy doesn't have one of their own to respond. Elemento, nice little return to sender there onto Fine in midair, doing some kind of anime shenanigans, and he's going to be carrying that on with the kill onto Fast as well here. He's going to be flying through the sky, but Carbon Head is the one stinging like a bee here. You still have some space to push for the Lunar Falcons, though.
Huge exit frag there. I mean, it means that we're in a full repush. Megapolo has numbers advantage. That's why we see Lunar Falcons back off. They wait for their 5th member to come back. And that is a breath of fresh air, a stay of execution for the defenders. Still not perfect for them, but it gives Fine, especially time to charge up this overclock. Comboed with, for example, a window, that could be very deadly indeed.
And now Bob is in, not just pressuring the members of Megapolo, but pressuring the point as well.
AJ.
What's the... Oh, come on. Again? Seriously, guys? I mean, look, the ult advance was overwhelming. Credit to Lunar Falcons there. That's going to be the victory blade gotten out there. But we've had, like... We can't even say... Okay, there's an Ajax at the end, but then there's also beats which are, like, cancelled. But then
Or
there's...
one man.
Or just nanos in the spawn room, or beats in the spawn room, or something. The
Yeah.
supports were feasting and famining this game at the exact same time. They pulled off some miraculous plays to keep their tanks alive and get
Sleep
some
on the
beautiful exit
rampage was
frags.
crazy.
Sleep the rampage, exactly. And then they would also just literally throw their spaghetti on the floor. So it's a game, it's a tale of two halves right now. And that is essentially the first half of the game done and dusted for Lunar Falcons. This is now their game to lose. But Megapolo, I don't think that they're out of this fully.
Yeah, I mean, the theme of that entire map for them was going to be, closer, especially than the last map, and close as well, but just eventually no cigar. See if they can find it on Hanaoka. That's going to be coming up next, but before we get to the conclusion, we're going to have a short break. When we're back, the end of Lunar Falcons versus Megapolo. Back with the action 2-0, of course, to Lunar Falcons when we left off. Hanaoka going to be coming up next. Can Megapolo battle it back? What do you think here, Benjamin?
I'm not entirely sure, Isaac Spectrum Bailey. I'm fully unsure. I mean, it's because we're going over to Clash, right? So it's a brand new game mode. It's a brand new game mode. People are still trying to adapt to it. Of course, it was thrown into competitive instantly, so you have to assume that if these players are grinding the rank ladder, then they have seen their fair share of Hanaoka to play through. So I'm just interested. This is brand new. This is new game tape. It's new territory for these teams. There is some theory behind how you play Clash of the mode itself, similar to when Push came out, where you had to both push and Flashpoint, where you had to consider the game mode itself as part of your strategy. That seems to be the trend with Clash. You have to consider, okay, we're not just winning fights because this map has good high grounds or because it's linear, but also because it is a Clash map and we have to play differently because it's that, as opposed to, control point or payload or something along those lines. So I am very, very interested, Isaac Spectrum Bailey.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. Gotta say, want to remind everybody at home that Clash has been boosted in the ranks queue, which is why you're saying it a million times.
Yes.
First CGL match on a Clash map on a CGL broadcast. So
we're making history. Oh my god.
We are, yeah.
How do you feel about this history to be made?
I actually hate this game mode.
So, are you gonna write this on your tombstone that you were the you casted the first Clash map on a CGL broadcast ever?
It's big. It's definitely going on my CV at least. Listen,
possibly.
What is important is that first, when I was playing in this season, we had 5 Temple or 5 Throne of Anubises in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It drives me insane. But the practical upshot of this, though, is going to be that these players are going to be very, very familiar for it. So Megapolo, at least, will not be treading on uncertain ground as they try and battle back for their comeback. Remember, they're going to need 3 in a row. Hanaoka, Runasapi, and Circuit Royale should we require additional maps to try and go that far. And from what we've seen so far, obviously Samoa was a smidge of a shutout, let's be entirely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Iconvalor, though, was close, and, an extra minute off the bank could have made it go back the other way into Megapolo's favour.
Or just
they could have
touching the
completed
point.
even.
Or just touching
that
the
too,
point.
yeah, that too. So there's a little bit of a goof that we've seen from them, but if they're able to focus up, and especially considering how snowbally Clash can be, this could be a very quick point score from the team currently behind.
Yeah, and that would be a hell of a way to boost yourself back into the series, because it's such unfamiliar ground, because we know that Megapolo are such a capable team that they could just come out the gate swinging, they could just insta-3 cap, and Lunar Falcons have no idea what hit them. You then get that into Runasapi, which in itself is also a kind of scrappier map, lends itself, again, Push and Clash. They are quite different in many ways, but again, they are relatively new, they're relatively scrappy, Runasapi itself being a new map in the game as well. It's a big opportunity for Megapolo to get themselves back into this. I would be interested to see what we see if we do end up coming over to Circuit Royale. I feel like that is where we have been seeing some Juno experimentation from these teams, but it's more been a case of they've tried it once and then been like never again. Sort of like, I don't know, Marmite.
Marmite's great.
Marmite's great. Well, you're wrong, innit? But that's kind of their branding. Like, you love it or you hate it. And I hate it, and for that reason, I hate you, Isaac Spectrum Bailey.
Well, if you are a Marmite fan, I've just had an idea for a segment for our Saturday night Overwatch broadcast. So tune in, probably next week, to see everybody eating Marmite.
Even the Americans.
Oh, especially the Americans.
They will not know what hit them, bro. The greatest cultural export from the UK, Marmite.
Listen, to quote a wise man, it's going to be like a Mack truck to the face, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, there we are. We are still waiting on these teams to get through here just to ready up a bit. It doesn't look like there are any substitutes, unless actually there are. CBZ and Aristophanes are going to be subbing out so there are going to be substitution. Terry Tatuk and Azuya are back in. I'm not entirely sure what this indicates. Possibly just a change of Tank, you are more willing to play I'd say you're more willing to play the Marcher for Lunar Falcons, but they were quite willing to play it when they had Aristophanes in as well. Aristophanes, of course, did flex their muscles on the Winston a little bit. That was something that we did see from them, but that changed quite quickly as well. And Azuya is just going to be coming in to, keep things solid, keep things honest and reliable.
Yeah, so we're just getting everything sorted out in the lobby. We'll see exactly how long it takes, but in the meantime, you're stuck with us, which is...
Tell us more about the tokens. Tell us more about the tokens.
That's true. There are CGL tokens. You can buy things from it. You should link your Twitch account right now. Manage.cgl, I believe, going to be coming up. It's not on the graphic, but you should go there. And once they're linked, once you're watching this stream, much like you would get drops from a standard Overwatch broadcast here, instead you get CGL tokens, as mentioned. You can buy icons on the CGL page. You can buy in-game credits for that skin you really want, but don't have the dosh for. Or what were we calling it earlier? Racks, I think is the American phrase.
What?
That too.
Racks.
There's that. In fact, I'm going to go on the entirety of the console gaming league page just to find out exactly what else these amazing things can do. Because I, like you, want to learn, Egda.
Who says that I want to learn? Who says that I'm not just...
You can buy a custom team logo, you can buy Discord Nitro, and other things that we are currently cooking. They're all coming soon, so they're probably coming soon, presumably.
Okay, that's actually...
That would be cool.
Okay, I wanted to do like a sarcastic bit into this, but that's actually kind of insane. Okay, link your account right now, get those tokens, get those drops, That's great. The way that you were delivering that at the start, when it's like, you should get these tokens, you should. It was very much like open the windows, the fog is good, let the fog in energy. Like, that's the vibe I was getting. And I think that you all at home should open your windows and let the fog in, because the fog is good, ultimately. Don't listen to what everyone else has been saying about it, just let it in. Let the fog in.
You know the 1984 GIF? We need that, but like unironic. I feel like that's what I want my delivery to be here.
Oh yeah, I know the one of that guy on the big, the guy on the big screen being like, "You will link your account. You will get the CGL token drops." I mean, what graphics do we have, right? We haven't spoken about it yet, actually, but we have a shiny new package as well. I think people might have noticed that, but this is all new. It's all been cooked up by our wonderful folks in the Behind. Speaking of them, today we've got Hippie on the production. Little Joe and Orange have been on the ones and zeros, and I think we can all agree it's been a wonderful product so far. Been slightly more serious to pitch out some of our more goofy endeavors, but we just want to give them a huge thanks, because without the actually people who are good at their jobs, none of this would be possible. Single-handedly dragging down this entire production seems to be our specialty. That is what we do best. I believe that this is, because I said earlier as a joke, this is like the 32nd cast we've done together. It's probably, that seems like, are we talking like maps?
If we do individual games, definitely more than that.
I mean, definitely more games than that, but in terms of streams, maybe the same. We are going to be having a lobby pause. That is an issue loading in, which means that once again we are yapping for even longer, which is a wonderful thing right now. I am running out of ground very, very quickly.
Okay, so we can give you this. So there was a bit of a little of an issue with getting certain players in. Everything has been sorted out now. All players have been verified. And so we began to load into our map of Hanaoka, that third and possibly final in the series. However, tech issues in the way. So we're waiting on one player to return to the lobby so we can get everything underway. This is a lot of break. This is a lot of waffle for one map. I'm going to be so real with you guys. But what that does mean is that, especially with Clash being so fast, we could actually have more waffle than a game.
That's what we do best. And I think that, obviously, while we're here, we can talk about Clash a little more. So there are the two maps. There's Throne of Anubis and Hanaoka. I'm sure that they do have their discrepancies, that they do have their, subtle differences in how to play, about how open or enclosed it is possibly, but also they are similar right now. There isn't a ton to differentiate them because people are still figuring out the new Clash game mode. I think, obviously, for anyone who's unfamiliar, Clash plays a little bit like, it's an odd comparison, but a little bit like a 5CP back in TF2 for people who were playing that back in the day. It is 5 control points. It starts with the middle one open. Teams will fight over that one, and then they have to go further and further into the enemy spawn to capture more and more points. The game ends either when I believe 5 points are captured for one side, or if one team is able to capture the enemy spawn point, which, as is described, is literally the point right outside their spawn. So it's by far the hardest one to cap, but you can finish this map incredibly quickly, right? So that's the main concept behind it. Spectrion, Isaac, Spectrion, Bailey, October 13th. Tell me more about why this mode kind of sucks.
Finishing in 2 minutes is kind of goofy. Remember, the fact you only need to cap 3 points means you only need to win 3 fights in a row. Of course, they are going to get progressively harder because of how close the spawns are going to get. However, that's still a kind of a silly opportunity. I think we've all seen speedruns. Shortest I've personally seen is 2 minutes 14 seconds, and compared to how long some other modes can get, for example, going 20 plus minutes on any sort of hybrid, for example, it's a little bit goofy to get the same amount of victory points in a match such as this in just 2. Also, if you go back and forth in the center of the point, because you get the same amount of points for points you have advantage as ones you don't, and for retaking, and for teams just failing to cap, then it means that if you alternate between points B and C, the team that capped first will lose, never having had the chance to battle for their side of the map, which seems a little bit goofy to me as well. One thing that the map geometry very much does favor, though, especially on Hanaoka, is ground-based compositions, which is why we see the Queen and the Ramattra out once again.
I mean, yeah, you have the coastside high ground on this central point, which seems to be where everyone wants to play. It is the high ground overlooking the point, and it is accessible by the staircase there, and that's the ground-based comp. It's actually Harpy booped all over the place there. The aggression that comes through. You would think that the Queen composition has kind of the edge in that aggression, that Burst is somehow an even faster character than the Ramattra, but in this case, we're being proved entirely wrong. Terry Tatuk making the name known. Terry Tatuk.
And Zombie finding an exit frag on Pusio for 2069.
Nice.
That was going to be Lunar Falcons capping out first, and remember, that should mean that next fight will be slightly advantaged for Megapolo. They're making swaps, though, and so they're going to have to stall point for now, use that slow capture speed to burn time, and of course the 15 seconds left on the bank. Ooh. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's the initial pick that comes through onto Harpy. Your main source of healing now gone for Megapolo. And what can you even do about this? That's the go signal for the aggression to come through. Azuya staying in the fight for as long as humanly possible, going to enable Terratute to put those big arms to good use. And that's going to be Objective D, also likely going to be going the way. Of course, the point will cap slightly slower, so there is an opportunity for Megapolo to recontest, but obviously with the new spawn system, Pusio spawns rather late from the rest of the team, and now we have the opportunity to capture onto point E and finish the map entirely right here, right now.
We could be seeing an absolutely gargantuan speedrun with Fine going down here. Megapolo might be looking at a sub 2 minute map here.
And Megapolo haven't been able to charge any ults. Foden on the Maze got 75% to the Blizzard before being felled. Now, of course, it is a hell of a time to try and capture this point. You have to wait for it to even unlock. It's going to be extraordinarily slow. You have to take tick after tick, but Megapolo are in a permanent, trickle position. And yeah, every single tick is going to count as an extra cap of the point as well. The recontest does come through here, but you had the ult advantage here for Lunar Falcons. It's such a snowbally map this is, and Zombie says that it ends now. It most certainly does. Late Blizzard from Foden is going to turn all the Lunar Falcons into popsicles, but they don't even need to be moving on the point to recontest it. And again, the staggers coming through. You have an annihilation here to lock down this point, and Fast dies while trying to cast that rampage onto the point. And, I mean, look at your clocks, look at your watches, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't miss much. Lunar Falcons, 3-0. Very different look from that Icon Mold game, but a well-deserved win for the Lunar Falcons.
I said it, and it came true. We waffled for longer than the map actually went on. We're going to wait till we get an official time count. We'll see if we can get it from our producers and observers in the lobby. Exactly how long did that game take? Because that was almost certainly less than 3 minutes, right? That was a quick, just steamroll, and there's no two ways about it. You don't see that every day. I'll put it that way. That's why the mode sucks.
It has caused some controversial opinions, of course, but nothing controversial about that win. Also, look at that scoreline, 5-0. Like, that just looks like a boomage of a scoreline. But Lunar Falcons, they were the better team here today. We do have to give them full credit for the win. They did kind of adjust their roster a little bit within that second match. That second map did look quite a lot closer, but then they kind of had their main core come back in, and it was just business as usual. That could be... This might sound odd, but obviously it's maybe not entirely fair because this is the first Clash map that we've had, and there will be several more to come. Of course, our map pools are locked in for our first few weeks. However, is that the fastest CGL map we have ever seen? It has
I would
to be, right?
surprised if it wasn't.
Wow.
You can't really finish faster because with other modes you're limited by the 4-minute time bank. So I'm going to assume it's going to be less than that, and I think this was very firmly less than 4 minutes. So I think that's the fastest CGL map ever.
Yeah, some would
There
say
you have it, folks.
Some would say very long time, but in this case, not so much. In a game like Overwatch, that really doesn't mean a whole lot. But of course, we have to give congratulations over to Lunar Falcons. They had some great individual pop-offs, but also some phenomenal team play that came out. It is clear that they have made their mark here. A dominant win is how they would go forward in this. I'm thinking of who I would give play of the match over to. I'm not entirely sure. They played so well together as a team in terms of individual pop-offs. That wasn't seen necessarily, but both of their tank players did come out swinging. Azulia was quite impressive on the Lucio when they were in for that as well. So while I can't exactly name a definitive player of the match right now, there are lots of bright spots on this Lunar Falcons team, but also some on the Megapolo side as well. We have to give credit to, some of, Pusciel's pulse bombs, fast, aggressive, sometimes feast, sometimes famine play on the Junker Queen as well. There is a lot to desire from both of these teams, and there is a lot to be impressed by as well.
Yeah, but I think that will be it for us today. That will be our final game of the day. Just the one to get our feet wet in CGL Season 14. We want to once again remind you before we go, though, that we do have CGL tokens, so make sure you link your account. And, of course, Saturday Night Overwatch is going to be on. That's going to start at 7 p.m. British Standard Time, if I'm not mistaken.
What night is that going to be?
Thursday.
Oh, okay. Cheers. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, for the first match of the CGL stream, the first match of Season 14. There is going to be a lot available for you later in the week, so we hope to see you for that. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us, Egda and Spectrion, today, and we'll see you another day.
Let's have